Welcome to the Black Gentlemen's Club, where we have candid conversations about challenges that Black men face and how we overcome them. This club is a place for us as men to share thoughts, emotions, failures, and success. So what I want you to do right now, real quick, while you got a chance, is hit that subscribe button, follow, share this podcast on all your platforms, your friends, families, cousins, uncles, everybody. Just share this shit, all right? Please help us out. Give us a look. Hit the subscribe button, please. Thank you. Now, look, this episode's host right now, right? We have on here, we have Coach Jay. We have
what's
Tay.
good, everybody?
We have Tay. We have Mac, Loki, and then we have myself. See, now, look, for us to become the men that we are striving to be, we must acknowledge and address the obstacles that are preventing us from achieving our desired state. So this episode is going to be called, and we're going to be talking about this, effects of a father. It's a real heavy topic. It might be, might have a lot of gems in here y'all can pull up or something you can relate to, all right? So we're going to recap from the last episode.
Always gems.
Definitely always gems. So from the last episode, we talked about power, right? We talked about what is power. So we're going to do a quick recap of last week's episode. We gave y'all some community call to actions, so that way we can keep each other accountable, right? So for my guys here, which of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene caught your eye and stimulated your change of perspective? Whoever want to go first, anybody.
I got the earliest one. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Nah, go ahead, my brother.
All right, so I'm going to make this simple and quick. All right, so my law was law number 3. All right, conceal your intentions. All right, so I understand this law because everybody always say, don't let your right hand know what your left hand doing, right? You got to protect what you're doing, build it up, because somebody might come and take it. But this is where I disagree, because what's for you is for you. This is what I got from God, in my opinion. All right. Now, the whole point of us being a group that we're out here trying to, pass along knowledge. Mm-hmm. Why are we going to conceal it? Why conceal it? I don't think you should conceal any of that. I think you should share it. And I think you should still grow and build off of what you know and what you've learned and keep growing with that. That's just my opinion. That's why I don't agree with that law. But I do understand the law because you got to build it up. But that's my law. Law 3, conceal your intentions.
Well, for me, man, that's going to be a little situational, right? And let me tell you why. Concealing your intentions, right? So when you're concealing your intentions and you're doing it for the benefit of you, you're basically what you're doing is you're keeping haters at bay, right? Because there's a lot of people that wants to, pull you down like the crab in the bucket. They don't want to see you successful. They do see you successful. They low key don't want to see it, and they've never wanted to see it because they're not there to support you high key. You understand what I'm saying? But when you conceal your intentions in that way, it can affect you negatively. Oh, we got sound effects now.
Oh yeah, we always have.
Affect you negatively, right? I think it can affect you negatively when you're speaking about relationships. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. Mm-hmm. This can be a parent-child relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you really have to think about how you apply that concept based on the situation that you're in. So that's my little tidbit.
Understood.
Yeah, but for mine, right, the one that I do agree with, law number 16, use absence to increase strength and honor, right? And in reference to the father aspect, right? This is how I'm going to flip this, right? The absence of my father increased my strength and honor, but I didn't realize until I was a man already. See what I'm saying? So we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to that. But I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all. Yeah.
Next.
All right, man. For y'all that want to be super deep already, man. Mine is simple, man. Mine is simple. Crush your enemies totally. I'm all about proving people wrong, showing them what I can do, right? So that's mine is simple. I ain't like Dante and Mac over here already, No,
but we on the same accord. I already saw that. Because I can apply your concept to what I was saying.
Yeah,
I like the haters.
That's right.
What Cat Williams said about haters, he was like, if you got 16 haters, you need to figure out how to
get 7.
Get 17 more. Get 17
how the fuck to get to 17 by tomorrow. You know what I mean? What is that? I'll play that motherfucker.
Well, y'all just got 17, and you and Matt got your 17 one right here.
You ugly motherfucker.
What you get, Loki?
Dang. I like the intensity. I like the intensity.
Welcome to the show, Tate.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
He's setting the tone. We talked about that a few episodes back, but
I love it.
I'm gonna just go something pretty broad. Law 34: be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king. Be treated like one. As you know, what you do, how you move, that's what you project. You project dignity and confidence. That's what you're gonna get back. And that goes same for our household, same for our kids. When they see us moving like kings, they're gonna grow up to be that same being, the same energy. So for me, that's right now. That's every day. We gotta project that energy out.
All right. So for me, the one that caught my attention was Law 13. It talks about when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. The reason why I chose that one a lot of times because we do a lot of things for ourselves, for self-interest, self-preservation. So if I can get you to do something thinking that it's for you, but it's really for me, it's a win-win for both of us. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of times in business, that's the move you have to make. A lot of times in business is to use that move. So that's the reason why I kind of like chose that one. I don't use that a lot.
Transformational leadership. Man. I like that.
Correct. Basically, part of that because you have to sometimes use people motivators to get them to do, and that's a way to use get them to be motivated to get them to do what needs to be done, but not just for you, but for them as well.
I usually like that one because based off of the resources I call everybody resources, right? So like if you already like to do this is something that you already like feeling. This is your motivator. Why am I gonna get you to work against yourself? So if you do that, I'm not gonna do double work. Let me let you do that, and I'm gonna do this, and then we work together as a team. I like that. I like that.
That's why Law 13 is one of my favorite laws in that whole book. It's a dope book. So rest of y'all listeners, man, when y'all get a chance, read the book. Talk about it with your peers, whoever you want to talk about it with. You can even hit us up, social media. Just let us know. All right. So now, earlier, I know we talked about it before on the last podcast, but did any of y'all like take a step back to look at how you use your power, and was it in a positive manner? And then like how did you address that if it wasn't in a positive manner?
So I was on the last episode. I abuse my power sometimes in the house. In the fact that it's kind of trivial, but it can become if I don't check it. I got a kid, so sometimes I learned when I was a kid growing up, my mom's made me do everything. Go turn off the light, go get the sock off the floor, go, you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of paying it forward. My little boy, he about to be 3. I'm already starting up. I'm already doing the bad habits of, go hit that light switch, give me that remote control, give me that bottle of water. It's true, but I will check
right there.
Yeah,
remote control sitting right there on the armchair. You 5 feet away from that motherfucker. You ought to be ashamed of your goddamn self.
He like that.
Man, what is an arm? What is an armchair, bro?
The chair. The arm of the chair.
He on one today. You gotta watch it.
The arm of the chair. Nah, it's I'm because I'm about to get on his ass. Right?
You better get on him. He picking fights already.
I'm gonna let him do what he do. I'm gonna let him get comfortable in his own situation right now.
Shots fired.
Man.
I see the Birdman hands coming. Birdman hands
stay on
coming
guard.
out.
Stay on guard.
Birdman hands coming out.
Man.
Nah, so for me, the thing that I noticed about my power, almost some of the Lokis though, is dealing with my kids, mainly with my like being the only one in my house right now that's currently working. Paying everything, doing everything. A lot of responsibility flows through me to get things done. Sometimes you can take that power and you can actually manipulate that. You can get caught up like, well, this is my money. You didn't do this and this and that. Like, nah, time out. Hold on. There's other shit that needs to be done for the family. It's for us. It's not for me. It's for us. Sometimes you gotta, get your mind back on that. Hey, I'm the only one in here making money for us. She's going to school full time.
Same way.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, and it's the same here in my household. But like, do you ever feel like you just forget to care for yourself?
Yeah, that's the reason why I had to check myself because I was like, I ain't do shit for me. Time out.
Right. Because the thing with me, like, if I feel like nobody in this household is getting what they need or what they want, then I tend to feel guilty, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to my uncomfortability, I don't know nobody feel guilty about that. And you really got to sit down and think about that. Like, because I'm
Funny
gonna
shit.
still do what I need to do.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, you know, like today, I went to the cigar lounge again today, and I wasn't gonna go. But when I got there, I felt guilty. I'm like, man, she been home with kids all day. I'm like, you know what? She be all right.
Hey,
I love it.
ain't nothing
And
wrong
I
with
felt the
that,
same,
though.
and I felt the same way. So I know what you mean. That's the reason why I said for me, that was one of the things that I had to like check myself. Like, yo, hold on, nah, I'm cool. I think we good. I think I'm good. You know, because I was able to go, you know, at least go get my hands and feet done for a change. I had my hands and feet done for like 6 months, man. I'm over here,
You
you
get
know,
your hands and feet
looking like
done.
Fred.
You painted your
Yeah, looking like
toenails
Fred.
too?
You
Nah,
did it
Well,
yourself?
I went
yeah,
and got a pedicure and wore flip flops for 2 weeks straight.
yeah,
The
man.
thong
Shoot,
sandals? The thong
Oh,
I'm
sandals?
saying, yeah,
not
the
the.
Jesus slippers, the Jesus slippers, bro. You know, the plastic
The
ones you get for
Jesus
basic training.
ones?
The one you get for basic
Nah,
training, the plastic ones that cut your feet.
With these.
Walk with
Yes,
me.
nah.
Y'all, boy, crazy, bro.
the Air Jesus ones. You know, shit.
Hey, but ain't
I
nothing
would.
wrong with that.
Yeah, it's a
I
level of
mean,
maturity, I guess. I ain't there yet.
no, I don't think I am.
Throw them things on with some borderline hoochie daddy shorts.
Hell
Some
no,
hoochie daddy
boy.
shorts.
Shit. Oh, God.
Hot
Hey,
boy
You talking
summer,
about that
boy.
too?
Jeez.
Listen. Stop it. This is Dante.
Damn.
boy, y'all are killing me today, boy. I'm sorry. I needed these laughs, though. I
Oh
appreciate
shit,
it.
I love it. I love it. Hey man, but real talk though, like we'll get to the episode. We actually gonna get into the actual topic. So, which is a good point you brought up because as fathers, man, we gotta like be able to take some time for us, but also be able to be present for our families, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why this episode kind of came about is because me and my cousin Coach Jay, we was having a conversation on the phone, and we were just talking about just little things, growing up, how we both grew up, how things a little bit different. His dad was like a father figure for me, even though I didn't live in the household with them, and they were like maybe about an hour and a half away. His dad was more like a father figure for me. So his passing, things like that. We just talked about just all those things. So the effects of a father, it's pretty much where this came from, because for me growing up in a single parent home, right? My mom, she just raised me and my younger brother. My dad wasn't around. My dad was in the military. My dad was a Marine. He wasn't around like that. He showed up maybe twice, I think, when I was growing up that I knew of.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like, I ain't saying he was a bad father. He wasn't there for me like that. So I had to kind of like look around and pick and choose from different people, what to put in my toolbox
Mm-hmm.
as growing up as being a young man, first of all, and then now becoming an actual father and being an adult. So that we brought that up. So like, what are some things that you experienced? As far as having that not having a father or having a father. Were you raised in a 2-parent household? Was you raised in a 1-parent household?
It was all me, my mom, my brother, sister. That was it. And my mom had me early, and she didn't have nobody. My dad was an older dude that preyed on a younger woman, and I don't think he was a bad person based off meeting my older sister and older brother later.
Mm-hmm.
But as a man, I had to figure that out on my own. I honestly figured out how to be a man mostly from my mom. I mean, stepping up, and like you said earlier, Tay, was like, you could complain, but why complain? My mom didn't complain. She just did it. She just took care of us. She put her head down and went to work. And my dad did whatever he did. Strong woman, right? And that's a major respect for her, but this ain't about women right now.
Yeah.
But that is like my father figure and my hero and everything. So it's just all respects to her, but it showed me that I had to develop what it was to be a man based off what I had to see. Just like everybody else in this world, we go off what we saw, how we learned, and our experiences, and that just made me a man.
All right. Anybody else?
Well, for myself, I have my dad, as Corderro mentioned. My dad pretty much taught me everything, man. It's coming up on 3 years that he passed away. So it's been hard. It's been hard to get myself together. It's gonna kind of be hard to talk about this conversation tonight, but my dad just taught me just be a man. taught me to speak up for myself, how to take care of my kids. I mean, my dad was one of the best providers. I mean, was the best provider for me and my brother. And I take pride in that even now for my kids, try to be the best provider for them. My dad was more of a laid back. If you guys ever met him, Loki and Maggie ever met my dad, he was super chill, man.
He like Loki, just chill.
I mean, I'm talking about chill, man. So he just, I mean, he instilled a lot in me, man. I could go on and on about my dad. He was my best friend. He was my hero. He was everything to me. So I'm gonna end there and let y'all have it.
I got you.
Well, I don't want to go on and on because I know how this affects Julian, but briefly, Mr. Williams was, he was definitely like a father figure to me too, because me and Julian or Coach J grew up together, and that's how I became acquainted with Corderro. But just growing up with Julian and being over at his house and just watching how actively involved he was. And the one thing about Mr. Williams, when he said what he meant, that's what he said. And wasn't nobody gonna change his mind.
Oh, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? When he said it, he meant it. Hey, I'm trying to. That's what was gonna happen. You understand me? But I didn't grow up like that, right? So me watching that, it just increased my desire for it because I lived with my mother for a short period of time in my life, but our relationship was not really all the best. So I ended up living with my grandmother. And, and then I had my grandfather as well. And then my grandmother's brothers, and my mom's brother, my uncle, they all pretty much had a significant part in, making me the man I am today. And I think, with defining myself as a man, Julian knows this. I'm a pretty sensitive guy, man. I'm all in touch. Like I do spoken word and stuff like that. I'm all, but I get that from. I think I get that from overcoming what I went through as a child. Like my grandfather taught me how to tie my first tie. My Uncle Earl taught me how to change tires and change oil, how to fish. You know what I'm saying? How to grow my own food, stuff
amazing.
like that. You know what I mean? I remember growing up watching them smoke, and I would take a cigarette and go in the woods and get a couple puffs and get dizzy and come out like I ain't do shit. You understand what I'm saying? But it was just stuff like that from my childhood that I just remember, and then things that I experienced with my own kids. I never want my kids to experience what I experienced or to feel what I felt from an absent father. It wasn't until I was about 19 or 20 when I reconnected with my dad and I ended up forgiving him. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that because he ended up passing away. And then when I did reconnect, it was like something I always wanted that I never had. And I was glad that I forgave him, even though it took me a while to do it. But, when I did, he had my car when I went to boot camp. All that. It was just great, man. And I remember calling Julian, talking to him about it. It was just, when I finally developed that relationship with my father, it just reminded me of his. Because watching him and his dad was something I always wanted. So, yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Yo, so I want to come in kind of with a question. So I know for me, I want to ask you, like, if you had a traditional household, put a 2 up. If you had like a single parent household, put a 1 up. I just kind of want to do some math. So for me, so we got 5 hosts tonight. And out of that 5, for the people that's just listening, 4 of the 5 just put up a 1, and only one of us had a 2-parent household, a traditional 2-parent household. For my situation, similar. My mother raised me for the majority, and my grandparents was the second half. And my grandfather was pretty much the person that I associate a lot of my learning from. And what's interesting to me is I think it actually made a slight disconnect. I think Tay was kind of speaking to something that kind of sparked this idea, but we're learning from a person 2 generations before us, trying to apply the knowledge to our current generation. And it's like society doesn't work the same. So some of the things that they were running off of, that they're instilling into us, is dead. And it doesn't operate the same, but that's all we came up off of. So now we learning from women that are over dependent on themselves, and we're learning from men that might have not had the freedom to think the way that we think now. And I think that's what's kind of scoped in the generation of men that we have today. I don't blame nobody though. Everybody had their own battle, their own fights to get to where they at. But it's interesting. So for our listeners, I'm thinking the numbers are similar for y'all out there, with that dynamic of the household. And I know for myself, I got to be careful because I know I'm trying to overcompensate for the lack of in my household, and it's tough knowing when to stop, when to take a break, when to allow yourself to pause.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't want to be that person when your kid looks back. You know what I'm saying?
Can I get the message?
It's real. It's real because I think
is.
for myself, I literally burn myself out because I do not want to die or think like my son never knew that I was there for him, that I was going to give him everything I could. And that's dangerous, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead. What you got?
Nah, so like exactly what you said, man. I think I fight with that every day. I fight with the fact that not having like that male role model in the household. I wound up getting a male role model in the household when I was in about eighth or ninth grade. My stepfather. So my stepfather, Quentin Rogers, got arrested. So he passed away when I was like a sophomore in college. Him and my mom wound up getting divorced and get separated because cheating and things like that later on. But that was like it changed everything in my whole household because it made me now have to start working and doing things. I was playing football, all this stuff. I had to stop doing everything I was doing to now get back in and start working because they divorced so quick that now I'm working more than I'm actually participating in sports and other things that I was doing before. So that changed my trajectory of where I was going to be going, as far as in life. And plus also with that, he taught me a lot, like I said, like how to tie my tie, how to change a tire, I know how to cook for my family. My family in general can cook, period.
That's
But
verified.
like different skills as a man, or even having the conversations about girls with my stepfather was different. You know, I couldn't have conversations with my mom about girls all the time. It felt weird. You know what I'm saying? It felt like, Ma, you know, I like this girl. I'm messing with such and such. I'm getting my rocks off. Like, yo, I couldn't talk to my mom about that. It felt weird. You know what I'm saying? But talking to him, it kind of helped a little bit. But then when he was gone, like about 2 years later, he was just out the picture. It was like, damn. It's like I'm back to square one again. I'm back to not having a male figure besides my uncles, but they got their own families. You know what I'm saying? Like they got their own family. I'm not living in their household, seeing how they conduct business with their wife. I don't see a clear picture of what a marriage looks like as far as to be done the right way. Or I can only think I know because I see it from the outside looking in. That's why I said with my cousin, his dad. I looked at my aunt and his marriage and looked at, you know, how they was interacting, as well as my other aunts and their marriages, how they interact. Like, you know, I want things like this. I want to be in this type of relationship. But
Go
I
ahead,
don't know.
Tay ready.
But I like, you know, but I don't know the exact inner workings of the inside of that household. So for me, as a stranger looking at outside, looking in, you know, you can only hope. And now I'm married, trying to lead. It's like you lead. It's like you leading, but you're blind. It's like you don't have an actual roadmap of how to get there. Nobody's telling you how to get there. But I'll let you hit it, Tay. I think you're about to hit something.
That's where some of the over conversation comes from because you know I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know what I'm leading because I know what I'm leading. I just don't know where I'm leading them to. Right?
Yeah.
It's like I always had these visions of what I've always wanted to accomplish as a man. The things that I want for myself. And the things that I want for myself, really, I've only seen one man accomplish that in my family, and he's not my father. You know, he's my uncle. He lives down in Georgia. You know what I mean? But I don't agree with, you know, like how he is with his family all the time. But I mean, that's his family. But for me, when Loki was talking about just trying to make up for stuff and not wanting to provide his children with the same feeling that he felt. No, man, I felt that too. My soul could not wait to come back to that. You understand me? Man, I got serious anxiety issues, man. I take on all of these things because I feel like I have to, you know what I mean? And then, you know, sometimes I do, but I don't know when to sit down, man, and just take a break. You know, I'd be up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, like, you know, revamping my resume, doing research, you know, looking for jobs because I may transition out of the military or uploading documents for applicants at my office with what I currently do in the Navy because I just want to win all these awards and get all these accolades and all this education because I know that that's what's going to maximize my earning potential. You know what I'm saying? Because because that's what I've grown up to feel like that's what a man is supposed to do, is to make as much money as he possibly can. But it doesn't. It's not all about that. It's not all about that. Sometimes we have to really sit down and focus and think about what it is that we're actually providing our family mentally. Are we making them feel safe emotionally? You know what I mean? And with the disconnection that I had growing up is the same disconnection that I give to them. And then when you really slow down and stop and think about it, you're like, damn, I really haven't played with my kids in 2 weeks because I've been working.
Yeah.
You know, and it hurts because then you feel guilty and then you try to overcompensate. So it's a whirlwind, man. I can go on and on.
It is. It's definitely a whirlwind, man. But you know what? I got a question because my wife had her dad somewhat, but that's a messy situation, right? But I didn't have mine, and that's a messy situation. Sometimes we often try to figure out, is it better to have a dad or not? Mm-hmm. Because which way does that drive you? I mean, it could go a multitude of ways, right? But in my situation, it made me think. By not having a dad, I thought about the things that I wanted as a kid. And the things that I wanted as a kid was to have a family together. And I didn't see that anywhere. Like friends down the street didn't have dads or moms, you know? And everybody was always in a one-parent household or so. And you had your one or two that was in a two-parent household, which was great, but then those kids was bad as hell too. So
similar ratio we have here.
Exactly, right? Similar ratio, and it's how it is. But when I thought about that, I said, for me, I envisioned me having a full house, 3 kids or more, and this is just thoughts, and I brought it to life. I manifested it, and I think that if we kind of like think back, what was your aspiration? And I think that kind of drove you to becoming the man that you are today. Even without a father or a mother, you know, depending on where your situation was. But that's what drove me to become a father of 3, and 2 dogs and a house and all this stuff that I never had before. My mom didn't even have. But it gave me a picture of what I wanted. So I think for me, it was good to actually not have a father in my situation. I don't know what kind of dad my father would have been personally because, you know, he was on drugs and stuff like that. But everybody ain't like that.
So
go ahead.
Let me say something then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for me, having a father, I figure I turned out pretty well, right?
Absolutely.
You know, just the discipline. There's a lot of things, like I said, he instilled in me. Like I said, I could go on and on. This takes me back to the very first message I ever spoke anywhere, and the message was, "There's no excuse not to be a father." I mean, a part of that message that I wrote was on a Father's Day. How many years ago was that? Like 4 or 5 years ago, Corey? It was a while back.
It's about longer than that. Maybe like 6 years ago.
Yeah. So I just want to ask y'all a couple questions, and have you guys experienced? It sounds like some of you experienced these things, but when I did research on a dad, it said that kids that didn't have their fathers in their house were more likely to be aggressive. So growing up, were you guys aggressive? I know Corderro was. You can tell me.
Nah, I wasn't aggressive. I actually became more caring, right? Because of the women that actually took care of me, right? So the absence of my father, you know what I mean? And you know, and with the role that my grandmother played in my life, I became overprotective, and I'm still like that now, right? It's like I developed this caring, nurturing, like protective mindset and personality versus you know, being aggressive, right? So,
Hey, what's your birthday, man? What's your birthday month?
February 18th, man.
Shit, mine the 13th.
Okay.
Mine the 13th February. Damn.
So, all right. So the next thing is, how many of y'all suffer from depression of not having your father?
Facts.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I actually do.
I did. I don't anymore.
All right, how about low self-esteem?
I think early on I did.
Early on, it was low self-esteem. Yeah.
Early on,
low self-esteem. No, not for me on that. I think it hit me when I got into college. It hit me in college.
Okay.
He got humbled. That's what it was.
He hit me in high school. the low self-esteem, man.
I grew out of it.
Because of the absence of a dad. Because like, okay, I'm gonna keep it like, okay, so I grew up with Coach J, right? We played football together. He was always like the really, really good at football, right? And I didn't really develop until my, being good in football until like 10th, 11th grade. You know what I'm saying? And I always said to myself, like, damn, I would look at Julian, and you probably don't even know this, Drew. I was like, damn, maybe if I had my dad, I'd be good at football like that too.
But you know what's
I
crazy?
used to say that to myself.
But
I used to say that to myself.
But the craziest thing is, my dad was never interested in football.
He definitely wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't, and that's crazy. That's
You know,
crazy.
That's how outside perception.
But I still equated that. I still equated that. I really got good like towards like my junior senior year, man. You know what I mean? But I always equated his dad, because his dad would show up at every game. Had down there with the camera, boy, making videos, boy, you know what I'm saying, taking Julian to visit schools, all that stuff. And I was like, that's something I always wanted. My grandmother, she wasn't gonna do that. Like, she would have, but she, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
well, no, I mean that pretty much said it all right there, y'all. I mean, because low self-esteem has kind of been was a thing. Depression was a thing. Being aggressive was what most people dealt with without having a father, especially young males.
Ooh, can I touch on that aggressiveness?
Get in there.
You got something on the mat?
I do, but you go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, well, the aggressiveness came from, like, so, hold on, I'm going to go back a little bit. So, I was always good at football. I was just low self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. I was too scared to jump out in front of everybody when I was better than everybody. So, that was my problem. But then my aggressiveness came when, at the house, if I get mad, I break shit. I put a hole in the wall, or I punch a door. Like, I had major aggression in that aspect. But when it came to people, I always tried to care for them because I had that caring, nurturing piece of me too. So it's a little bit of everything, but it was different phases, and it was how I had to get through it. And a lot of the kids in my neighborhood are the reason why I jumped out of it.
Yeah.
So,
real quick, one for Coach J. Respect for you for asking them questions, because sometimes if we don't even hear the questions, like, I didn't even identify with some of that until you just ask them questions. Like, I wouldn't even associate it with the father aspect of it being the cause of where I'm at. For me, I don't think the self-esteem was an issue as much as trust issues started developing. Just not being able to depend on people because of being let down, so many times. So for me, I think that made me more like of a loner, a person that can, like, I still to this day, I can go to the club, I can go out of state, I can go anywhere by myself, turn up by myself. I'll survive by myself because that's what I had to do. I was a single child for most of my life too. So, like, being able to only know that I have one person in my corner to truly depend on, everybody else is flaky. Like, it don't even matter. We'll see. But then coming in from that, I just want to also make a shout out because Corderro made a good point. Shout out to all the stepdads, because I got a stepdad as well. He filled in the gap. And it's so much respect knowing that they are coming in and taking care of another child that they did not put up for young men. Too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, that stepdad piece, huge. Major. You shitting on Future. Anybody else is saying, dog, these hoes, you the real GOAT, the real MVP. I just want to put a shout out to that. Shout out to my stepdad. Go ahead.
Hey, man, I appreciate that,
ahead.
Loki. I appreciate that.
I was waiting on it.
Bro, you don't understand. I appreciate that.
I commend you, my brother.
So
bro, I'm a stepdad to 3, my boy.
3, 3. He is. 3. Yeah. So to touch back on what you said about the aggressiveness part, because you know me, man. Like, I don't tolerate a lot of shit. I don't. I really don't. Like, I'll fuck you up on site. Like, I don't tolerate a lot of shit. So, but I mean, I've gotten better. I've gotten better over time to where I won't be so quick to knock you out. I ask you 3 times. Hey, you sure? You positive?
Yeah.
All right. And then when I say, all right,
I don't know what positive means.
It means I'm asking you again. Are you really sure? Once I say you positive, I say all right. Once I say all right,
y'all don't watch Django.
You might as well get ready to throw hands, pretty much.
Yeah,
because like growing up, like I had like a lot of cousins, and even my brother, man. Everybody like to test me. Even in my neighborhood too, everybody like to test me. They wanted to test me for some, I don't know why, but for some odd reason, everybody wanted to test me.
Cause we ain't that big.
Because we're all trying to figure out, who's the biggest, who the baddest, because we're looking at the drug dealers on the corner, the gangsters on the streets. Like, yo,
Mhm.
these dudes are who we idolizing right now. You know, like Loki saw even you saw Matt when I went back home.
Oh yeah, that boy knew the whole city. I promise.
I know some
Everybody,
hey,
God damn, nigga,
From the
Hey.
trenches, he knew
Hey, I
from
know-
the trenches
hey,
to
I know
the
some
to the
motherfuckers,
mayors
bruh.
to the political office. I tell you,
bruh. Hey, I know some people. I ain't too far from removed.
Facts.
I love my people, man. So I'm just saying, like the people I grew up with, it's people that I kind of like. I learned from the streets too as well. So for me, I got very, very, very aggressive. Like Jew would tell you, man, I'll put hands on you quick. Like I'll lump you up real quick.
I lump you up.
I'm just being real. Like that's how I was, because I fought my uncles. I fought everybody, bro.
Mhm.
Because I was always looking to, like, why everybody trying to come at me for something that I'm learning. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to do more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there had to be a man soon.
Yeah, man, I had to grow up real fast. Like at the age of 10, bro. Age of 10, I had to grow up.
Yeah.
yes sir.
So,
Hey,
so,
fellas,
so
make sure
for
you
me-
check in chat too. Make sure you check in
I'm all over.
Riverside chat.
Yes. So
If you ain't on it, make sure you check it.
So like for me, growing up at the age of 10, I was working since then. I was doing like working at the pool, selling candy, all that good stuff. I went from working at Mediterranean Grill, working at
Spending chips
Hardee's,
to sell
everywhere,
them
bro. I was doing everything. I was working to give my mom money. All my check was going to my mom,
Facts.
and I was taking care of my brother, who like she worked 2 jobs, and I'm in the house feeding him and doing shit by myself with him.
Mhm.
Like, so I missed a lot. Even though I had a childhood, but I had to be a man so early that I kind of like I felt like I missed out on a lot of stuff.
Hey, I understand
That's
that. I hear
amazing.
you, Corey. I hear you, boy.
Bro, yeah, you know, shit, man. Hey.
Oh yeah, I know. So let's get to it. Like, let's get to a part where we say the effects. I think the first effect is, and I think we all talked about it. In the beginning, is the father is a teacher,
Yeah.
right? That's
Mhm.
the first thing. A father is a teacher, and that tells us in the Bible that we should train the child in the way it should go,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So we should
They
be
want
teaching
part.
our kids daily. So that's definitely an effect that if you're not being taught properly, then you're gonna, I remember Tupac said that his father wasn't around, so he went to the gangs, and they showed him love. And they showed him how to be a man. It wasn't the way that a man should be, but that's the thing. That's the only thing that he had for far as an example for him to turn out the way that he turned out. And that's a whole interview. You can see it on YouTube. Tupac talked about, if he had his dad, he knew his life would have been different. But since his dad wasn't around, he just went to the next thing that he saw. So what he saw is what taught him the ways and the habits that he had. So the first thing that effect that a father has is that he is a teacher.
What you got, Tay?
Hey man, listen. So I have 2 beautiful daughters and 4, right? I've said this before and I say it again. My biggest fear is that one day they're gonna run into a man like I used to be.
Mhm.
Right? That's my biggest fear. Because if there's one thing I don't play about is this my baby. You know what I'm
Mhm.
and I feel like I got to do everything I can to love them first, so they won't be so impressed by any little thing that some young man has to say.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I seen a post on social media the other day, man, where this dad actually gave his daughter a diamond, and for every achievement, every degree or something like that she achieved, he promised her that he would give her a diamond for every one. And I thought that it was a good gesture, but then in the comments there was a man that said it was a bit extra. This is why women are so entitled now. But like, I don't really think that it makes entitled women. I think it just makes aware
Mm-hmm.
women.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because like the other day, man, I brought my daughter's flowers to school, and on the card it said, "You'll never have to search for love as long as you have."
Ooh, shit.
That's
And
solid.
I took it to him, and I dropped it off to him at school. Yeah, I did that, man. I did that, man, because I just, for the life of me, man, I'm gonna protect him like I protected my grandmother, or like I still protect my grandmother.
So it goes back to you.
That's that caring aspect.
That's
Teaching them
that
what to expect.
Teaching, yes, sir.
Teaching them what to expect.
Exactly.
So they're not so easily persuaded. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Can I jump in real quick before?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So what y'all both saying. So both of you are technically setting the standard, and you setting that tone for, like you said, the expectation piece. For like not only for your kids, but now for your whole household. So I mean, that like to me that right there, like I didn't even think about some of that. Like when you said that, I just like, yo, shit. Like we doing that every day. We're not even thinking about it because it's just something we take for granted.
What's that?
No, that's real.
That we actually teaching, that we actually stepping out and doing more than what we receive.
But see, look, you gotta think about this too. Now, you said you got two girls. You got two girls.
I got
a son
two girls,
too.
man. Okay.
Right? I got two girls and I got a son too. Right.
Right.
Now, I ain't got all the money and stuff to buy my babies diamonds like that, right? But
but I'll go get some roses though.
Oh yeah,
facts, right? But look, so what I decided to do, because something I never had was somebody. Well, of course I had my mom, but no father figure to do this. Is I just take my kids out on a lunch date with me, each one of them, my son included, and I got to make sure they all get their own individual time with me, because what we do for our daughters, we don't do for our sons, and our sons deserve the same treatment. But we try to make them work for it because we know how life is hard on a man, right? We want our girls to develop a standard to make sure that no man could just not any man could just walk in the door and impress them, like you said. But why we don't do that with our sons as well?
Especially a black man, endangered species.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I do, man. Just because I know how it is. I have two biological sons and I have two stepsons. Right? They all mine, but before my two stepsons came in my life, I had my two boys. So it's always been to set the example. I always wanted them to see how it's like to be a black man working hard. At the time, I was working full time and going to school. So for me, I've always done it, and I continue to do that because I have to be an example for them. And so not only are we teaching them everything that I do, be an example in front of them, they're following behind that. My sons tell me now, like, Dad, I remember you doing this. I remember you doing that. Oh, Dad, I was just watching you. And when I watch you, this, right? So, I hear what you're saying, Matt, but for me, I've always wanted to show them, like, this is how you be a man. And that's probably because that's how my dad did me. So a lot of that is just a follow-up. Like, I respect my dad so much, like, I literally almost did everything he told me to do, right? I'm just being honest. So with me being a father to my boys, thinking how my dad was to me and my brother, that's what I wanted to portray. This is what I wanted to do. So I get you, but you are right. There's some guys that don't do that for their sons.
I know we got a little script to get to, but after you, I got to say something about that.
Yeah,
because you're right. It is some guys that do it, but there's also some women that don't do it for their sons because they think they got to build their son to be a stronger man because they don't know what a man's supposed to be. So I had to get that from my family, but I also had to develop that from my own discretion. I had to bring about things that I never seen before. Like, you had a vision, you had somebody that put it out there, that gave it to you. I ain't have that. And that's not bad on either side. I mean, it is what it is. And by taking that, somebody got to make the difference. Somebody got to step up and change the way we've thought about things.
Yes, so, matter of fact, you hit it right on the head because I was going to talk about that piece. Because for me, you're talking about teaching. So I didn't really have, like I said, in-house teacher. I didn't. Everybody was my teacher.
Yep.
From the dope boys to the gangsters to my uncles to my cousins to like people I seen on TV to the books that I've read.
Facts.
So those are my inspirations and the things that I felt like a marriage should be. But a lot of times I looked at a lot of old movies with my grandma and my great grandma because they live right beside me. My great grandma and my grandma live right beside me, so I can go to either one of their houses, no issue. So I watched a lot of movies with them, and a lot of movies they played was a lot of old time movies where there were two parents in the household. But back then it was more traditional. It was more of, the the man is out there working. The woman is in the house, but she worked too, but she was mainly in the house taking care of the house. So to me, responsibilities or roles came into my mindset when it came down to being the father. And as a father, in my mind, I was like, well, I need to be the disciplinarian. I need to be the one that actually, give them ethics, give them morals, give them values. That was my mindset, to the point where me and my wife, we collided a lot because she had her own set that she came into it with, right? And with me being the father, my kids looking at me like, if mommy is contradicting you, then I don't know who to believe. But like, I had to tell my wife, pull it to the side, like, look, we need to be on the same page. Stop trying to undermine me in front of them. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, pull me to the side and we can talk about it. But understand that I have every responsibility in this house, because if anything happens in this house, they don't look at you, they look at me. Everything falls back on me. So if you want to take that burden and you want to take that load, here, take it. But understand, don't try to get back to me when you can't bear it no more, because that's what I'm made for. And but for me, I took a lot of that out of the Bible too, because the Bible specifically tells you everything you need to do to be on this earth, even how to be married, how to live as a man, all that stuff, how to be financially successful. Everything is in that Bible. And I had to dig into the Bible to find out what it is to be a man, because I didn't even know. I was confused.
So you said,
so I had to teach myself first.
Religion is your first direction?
Yes, religion is my first direction, because I had to learn from the Bible. I had to teach myself first, and had to seek God, find out, hey man, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do for me first, so I can teach my kids and teach my wife. If I can't be the best version of me, how can I help them?
That's real.
That's right.
Hella real.
But you
oftentimes we're not the best version of ourselves anyway. We're
work in progress.
It's always blind leading the blind, but you gain a bit of knowledge along your experiences, and you try to make it better. Yep. I mean, I asked this question in the chat, and I was like, I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid. Some of y'all might not have watched that, but dead ass, like Goku, I know he wasn't the greatest father. He's a character. He's always the way he's always fighting. But dead ass anime, it really taught me a little bit about how to be a father, or how to train my son, how to train myself, how to be a little bit better. And there's a lot of stuff about anime cartoons that I don't think people really get. And you can choose to watch it or not, but it's on you. But there's a lot of tidbits about father and son relationships when they be battling each other, when they're going against it. But it's always a bit of resilience that is taught. And there's always a bit of difference that you have to learn, because every situation ain't the same. So just, take that and run with it.
I mean, fathers parent differently. I mean, they parent differently. They play differently.
Facts.
Fathers build confidence differently.
Facts.
Like for you guys that didn't have a father in your life, but when a male came to you and said, "Hey, man, you're awesome, man. You did great. You did this. You did that." Man, that was huge. And we said this in a podcast probably at the very beginning, where I said, when I see young men, I always speak to them. Right. And I remember doing an event when I was doing a lot of stuff in my community. I did an event called Fathers and Sons, Tons of Fun. And it was dope. It was basically fathers coming together with their sons to play games, to write each other letters, to read each other letters, how much we appreciate each other. But the crazy thing about it is, guys, out of all 60 kids that were there was 10 fathers.
That's how it is.
And it blew my mind, because mom was like, "Can I just bring my kid? I just need him to be around a man." So
they do it all the time.
And it just blew my mind, like, man. So I was telling the guys, like, yo, we really have to be the example, right? In this shorter period of time, I called a little huddle of all 10 dads that were there, like, yo, we really truly have to be an example, because we're going to have a major impact on their life from this point on to now. So that's why I said that example piece is huge, man. It is huge. And like I said, to this day, even working with youth, a lot of kids act out because they didn't have their dad. A lot of kids say, "Yo, Coach J, I wish you were my dad," or "I just wish I had a dad," period. But then you had some kids, their dad was never there, but that one Friday, their dad come pick them up. You thought they done went to Disney World.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just that father. Just the word dad has so much power to it, right? As a kid, when y'all were a kid, if your dad just would have popped,
bro.
if your dad just popped up anywhere, you would have been like, "Oh snap, dad here." You would have forgot all about him not being there.
Yeah,
right.
Facts.
That just shows you how powerful a dad can be to a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy. I mean, I witnessed it with my friends. I witnessed it with the kids that I used to work with. That I mean, dad pop up is a different story. So yeah.
Hey, yo, listen. So y'all remember that episode from Fresh Prince where he was supposed to go on that road trip with his dad, and he ended up leaving.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of broke down.
Yeah.
So the title of today's show, "Effects of a Father," right? Based on that episode alone, because I remember that episode, I knew it word for word, and it really affected me because that's really like how I felt. But what he said that resonated was, "That's not a damn thing that he could ever teach me about how to love my kids." You understand what I'm saying?
It's hard.
It's not a damn thing that he can ever teach me about how to love my kids. So I think the side effects of an absent father is definitely resentment, and it makes it easier to resent people too.
Oh yeah.
It makes it harder to forgive people because you've been conditioned. You've been conditioned, right? And you have so much hurt and anger, right? A lot of us even deal with that even as grown men at 35. Like, I'm just some of that. And learning how to set boundaries and loving from a distance, and and being who I need to be for myself and my family, and no longer allowing them to be suffered by the pain that I experienced, especially my children. Man, but yeah, that was big for me. There's not a damn thing that he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. I don't care how much I forgave my father. I still mean that.
Yo, I need everybody on the show, everybody listening right now, breathe in 5 seconds. It's heavy, so I'm gonna just breathe in, take a deep breath, let it out. Cause we dropping some real heavy stuff this episode. I definitely want to. What we like to do is a call to action, and what I've been hearing this whole episode is just the visibility of men in our lives. So I know, I sent a message out to the group. I got two things for you. I sent a message out to the group, and it's for a different reason. But these school shootings have made a lot of parents and communities stick up for their people and their kids more. And what I like, one of the examples is up in Chicago. They made their own neighborhood watch, and they're taking care of their own, and just taking it from that same mindset. Like right now, today, tomorrow, we need to be there for our community, for our family. So I would like our listeners to look at your internal community and then be present. If it's somebody, don't wait for them to ask you for help. Be present in somebody's life. Be that stepdad. You don't have to take a role as a stepdad, but be that father figure for the people around you closest. And then number two, I would like everybody listening to get a circle. So we have our show circle, right? We got a team, but I think everybody needs a team because it's so, that's healing. That's therapy right there. What Tay just said, I'm 30 myself, and I'm just now uncovering some traumas. I'm just now uncovering some things that I'm like, yo, I didn't even know that's where it came from. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know that's where it came from. So just having that different perspective from the circle, the trusted circle, that's your challenge for this week. You got 2 weeks to get it taken care of, but get out in your community, see what needs you have. If you have to be there for the kids getting off the school bus, if you got to take some kids to sports, you got to help a single mother out. That's where you need to be at. That's how we start making this change. How you guys agree with that, or you got to add anything else for a call to action?
I do.
All right, what you got, Matt?
But Corderro got to get in here because I know he's waiting. I just want to say this one thing. This is the shit that bothers me the most. If you have a kid, start there.
True.
If you have a kid, start there. I don't care if your kid are 2,000 miles away. Start there, bro. Start there. I don't care. You got no excuse. Start with your kid. That's it. I'm done. Drop mic.
He said it. He said it. He said start there. Like Tay said, man, absent father. You can be there and still be absent.
Big facts.
That's all I'm gonna say. But
Hey,
What I want you to
Corderro,
do.
you got some books for us this week? You got
Yeah,
any books
I'm about
that's
to
kind of like
not give you a book.
parenting?
I ain't give you a book.
I know you
Another
got
book.
Yeah, throw you one.
Another
I know you got
daggone
some
book.
Hey, look, hey, look.
man.
podcast and something.
Swear, man. I know that man don't read all them books. I don't care what that is.
Fine.
You ain't gotta believe me.
He be scamming me.
I do. You ain't gotta
He
believe
be
me, but I have
scamming.
every book I recommended. I've read.
That man got the audio.
I got that too. I got the audio book, and
Right.
then I have the actual hard copy book, which is the crazy thing because
But
I don't know. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd, bro. I'm a nerd,
Hey,
bro.
go ahead
and-
I have
Go
the
ahead and
audio
tell the
and
people about
the
the
damn
book,
book.
man. Tell the people about the
Hey,
book,
look.
man. Go ahead.
Hey, look.
Man.
Hey, look now. Hey, look. Hey, look, man. I have both books. Stop hating on me.
Go
'Cause
ahead.
you don't want to
man. Go
read.
ahead, man.
Don't hate on me. Don't hate on me. So,
All right, man.
all right, y'all. Since my cousin want to give me a hard time, the book I want y'all to read is The Habits of the Household. This book is by a guy named Justin Early. So far as the book actually gives you a lot of good insight on how to kind of like structure what you do in your house to kind of make your house more effective. Also a good place for your kids to teach them. It's actually biblically based too as well. So if you read the book is you can get on Audible as well as actually buying out the bookstore. I have both because the actual book comes with some of the diagrams that he discusses in the actual book that you can actually look at, highlight, and maybe make your own template. He also gives you a link in there that you can download and go to a site to get these templates for free as well. Everything he gives you in that book is free. You don't have to pay for it at all. So just check the book out, read it. If you don't like reading like Matt, download Audible and just listen to the shit. All right.
Or just let
Just do
Corderro
that.
tell you about it.
I'm not gonna tell you. or yeah, like Matt
Yes,
do. Matt be
sir.
like, "Hey, bro, did you read the book?" And like, man, I've been read the book. Like, bro, so tell me about the book. Tell me about the book. real
Corderro
quick.
done read this. He done read
Yeah.
the synopsis.
Hey,
I read the cliff notes.
Matt gonna
Nah.
YouTube it.
He gonna YouTube
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit. So
Why am I gonna work
He gonna
hard?
ask-
I don't like to read.
he gonna ask me questions. Hey man, so what it say in chapter 3? Man, you read the shit? Come on, bro.
Go ahead.
Hey man, you gotta show
All right,
your
go
son you like reading, man. He like to read too.
Oh, my son read. He read novels.
See?
Like my son read. I'm
See,
good.
look at that. Effects
skipped-
of
it
a
skipped
father
the
because his
generation.
ass don't
It didn't scare
read.
me. I just don't. I read when I have to. I don't like to read.
I hated reading growing up, man. I really didn't get into reading until like, when I was in my 30s, man.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yo, I got a question for group.
How about everybody just shut the hell up and let you
Go ahead, Ju. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Go ahead. What you got?
Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
Go ahead. Get your shit out. Go ahead.
Man, I ain't got nothing to say, man. I'm glad we got this book. Please go pick this book up. Habits of the Household by Justin Early. Please go get it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I got a question. I got a question for group there. I got a question for
What
group.
chapter 3 say?
Go ahead and read that down.
I go get it and go show you.
Don't
It's
test us,
okay.
man.
It's okay.
Don't test
the
us,
people,
man.
the people gonna get the book. All right. Thank you.
Question for group. Question for group.
All right. What's
Here
up?
it is. So look, what if it coming up? Do you care to get anything, or is being father just enough?
Do I really care?
Or
About
I
if
don't
you're
care.
a father, is everybody here a father? I think everybody's a father on the show.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
want
saying,
it.
I don't care, bro. I just want y'all to be good, like straight.
I tell you what I
want
do want.
That's where I get my satisfaction. Is everybody healthy, safe, happy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
I tell
true.
you what I do want
But they
though.
always
I tell
give
you
me
one
something,
thing
though.
I do want.
What you want?
You know what
Don't
I
say
want?
peace. Don't say peace. of mind.
No. What I want is you to say thank you.
Peace on earth.
Just a thank you.
So appreciation.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I
But
don't need shit.
But how much does that really mean on that day? If
No.
you're not
That's why I
getting
asked this. I want
any
him
other
to go
day.
ahead. Go ahead.
You saw me, how
Go
much
ahead.
it mean on that day?
You
So
Father's Day. Father's
No,
Day
no,
don't
no.
mean- yeah.
no, fathers don't mean shit. But I'm just saying, fathers don't mean nothing. But the fact the matter, it don't mean nothing. But if I can make a wish like Ray J, I would just be like,
Hell no.
I wish you had an attitude of gratitude.
Tell me thank you because it's Tuesday. God damn it. I don't do
Yeah.
Tell me
I
because
know.
it's Tuesday. And
But-
we still got a place to live.
Well, I'm
True,
gonna be honest.
but
I don't
they gotta
care
start.
about
They
a
gotta
thank
start
you.
somewhere.
I don't care about a thank you. I want to know that what advice I told you actually worked for you. That's what I
Yeah.
want to know. That you
But they
used
got-
it, that you took with it, that you heard me. That's all I want to know.
True, but what
Because
I'm
some of the
saying
stuff
though
I
is that,
teach you, you're gonna learn later in life.
true. But what I'm saying by them saying thank you, it's the starting point. Because
Yeah,
if you don't
I
get
feel
thank you in the day of the week, shit, be thankful for just this day.
Oh, my son sarcastic as fuck. He be like, "Thank you."
He said,
Oh, he
"Thank
said that,
you."
right?
though.
Because
we do want to be appreciated as fathers.
True.
We do. But
Big
my
facts.
point is, I just want to feel like that every day, man. Because
Yeah.
like Father's Day just seems so rehearsed.
Yeah.
It
You
does.
voicing
It's
that
just
to your
so
partner though? You voicing that, right?
almost like
Ooh.
yeah,
You voicing that to your partner. You voicing that to your partner, right?
It ain't about
That
the
you
partner,
need
it's
to-
that
kids.
you need. Okay, you voicing that as a man. You voicing that to the world that you need to hear that more than just on one day, right? Because we ain't speaking
yeah,
on it.
absolutely.
All right, making sure. 'Cause that's our first step as men. We got to make sure we at least voicing that need.
I had that open conversation
yeah.
if it was needed. I'm trying to tell you
Big
because
fact.
one thing about me, I'm gonna tell you what's on my mind.
I
Yes,
believe.
sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna let you know.
Okay.
I'm in trouble now.
I feel you. We all get like that.
What you gotta say, Coach J? You saying a lot with your face right there, boy.
Hey, man, he wanna flame me up so damn bad, boy.
Oh, he does. He does. This is what he's thinking. This is what he's thinking. Yeah. This is what he's thinking.
Stop it. Vein
Get some
coming through the hat.
Get some
Yeah.
help.
That's what he's thinking
Yeah,
right
bro.
there. He's thinking that. See? Look at him.
Hell nah.
I'm turning the AC on.
Man. What you think? That's a wrap? You got any
Yeah,
more,
that's a wrap.
fellas?
I think we
You
did good,
Nah,
guys.
go ahead, Julian. Go ahead.
He
I
did.
ain't
He
got
ready to
nothing,
go.
bro.
So-
I ain't got nowhere to go, but I'm done.
Corderro, close us out, man. Close us out, dog.
All right, y'all. I think that was enough. I mean, we might want to touch it again later, possibly.
Yeah,
So,
part
A
two.
little bit more to get off, but
yeah, it's a little bit more. So, look,
Lot
I'll tell you
more.
one thing, though. Tune in next episode when we will discuss the habits of the heart. Habits of the heart. I want you to dwell on that. Think about that for a little bit. When it says habits of the heart. Now, gentlemen, as always, it's not about what you do, but it's about how you do it. Dwell in that
intentions.
process.
Shit.
Dwell in that process. Like I said, it's not about what you do, but how you do it.
Facts.
I want to thank you all for listening to this conversation in the Black Gentlemen's Club, where we have candid conversations about challenges that Black men face and how we overcome them. May God grant you blessings and peace among you all. We out.